in your loving hand, our dear friend and colleague, Mr. Zach McKay. We're all concerned about his health, but Lord, we know right now everything is in your hands. We pray that you provide the healing that he needs to continue his life strong, continue to make a contribution to our great society. Lord, watch over our proceedings today. Allow us to work with diligence and foresight to bring about the kind of change and growth we need for this county. Allow us to work with a sense of purpose and to better our own understanding of the world, to just do your will in these works and not our own. And so we ask for these blessings in the matchless name of your son, Jesus the Christ. We say amen.
Amen.
Freedom of information announcement in accordance with South Carolina Code of Law 1976 as amended. The Marion Star Mothers Enterprise have been notified of the date, time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Item 4, approval of minutes from October 10th.
Second.
We got a motion, a second, any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? The ayes have it. This time we need to recess our regular meeting and open a public hearing. Motion second, discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? The ayes have it. Mr. Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council, those in attendance. We have one item for public hearing this evening. This is for ordinance 2023-12. An ordinance to approve a master lease for various office spaces located in the county's property located at 1305 North Main Street, Marion. To authorize the lease for use with each future tenant by county resolution only. To authorize the county administrator to execute such lease for each and every tenant on an ongoing basis, and to authorize all other matters related thereto. Anybody in attendance that wishes to speak for or against this ordinance? Hearing none, that would conclude our necessity of public hearing.
All right, we need to adjourn our public hearing and reconvene our regular meeting.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, the ayes have it. Item 7, resolutions.
Where anything we have?
I have one, and you didn't get the copy. Mr. Jack Edwards. And I emailed one to Sabrina today, and I brought a copy tonight. His service to the community throughout his church days and all has been outstanding, and he's from Marion. And I thought I put it in my pocket when I came in, but I can bring it back. Or bring it down. You need a copy of it. I'll get you a copy of it. Jack Edwards.
You making that in form of
Yes.
motion?
Yes.
Second.
Got a second, discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Is there any hurry on that?
Well, I talked with Sabrina today, and we don't know if we can get it. They were gonna try to have some kind of service for the church. And we don't know if we can do it next weekend. Is that possible?
I think so.
We got a fast lawyer.
I think so.
Yeah, well, I'll get that to you. I probably got my edit.
All right, item 8, ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. We have 2 on the agenda that we're going to handle tonight, so I'll start with item A. It's the second reading of ordinance 2023-09. You've had a copy of this since first reading. It's an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a purchase agreement and development agreement between Marion County, South Carolina and Project SIPI, authorizing the conveyance of property from the county to Project SIPI upon satisfaction of certain conditions set forth in the purchase agreement and development agreement, and addressing other matters related thereto. You need to take action on second reading.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. The ayes have it, motion passes.
Item B is still on hold. I haven't heard anything from their attorneys. Any movement on that. Item C, this is third reading. This is one for which we just had the public hearing. Third reading of ordinance 2023-12, an ordinance to approve a master lease for various office spaces located in the county's property located at 1305 North Main Street, Marion to authorize the lease for use with each future tenant by county resolution only. To authorize the county administrator to execute such lease for each and every tenant on an ongoing basis, and to authorize all of the matters related thereto. You've had a full copy of that ordinance in second reading. Take action on third reading, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Committee number one, Sabrina, as far as I know, there's nothing before committee number one.
No, sir.
We have nothing at this time. Committee number two, Mr. Tenney,
Have nothing at this time, Mr. Chair.
legal update.
I don't have anything of a legal nature necessarily, but, and I don't want to steal your thunder if you will talk about this,
No.
but I mentioned to you before, because of my move, it is now official. We received our CO yesterday, so I'm moving and I've changed my address. So I had to resign as this council's member of the PD Regional Airport Commission. So that seat will be up now for someone else to fill that role in the future. So thank you for the opportunity to serve in that capacity.
How many seats do we have on that
We have
committee?
two. Joe
Two.
Powell has had one for some time, and then I was the other.
Okay,
So we need to make some recommendations.
you want to think about it?
I would like to get the duties of them. So if we think we got somebody that might be willing to go to those meetings in Florence and bring it back at the next meeting. That's the count.
And the requirements of membership.
Yeah,
Meeting, how many meetings a month, what you're expecting to do.
it's one meeting a month. I can figure in a little bit on that, just so you can think about it going forward. It's once a month is the meeting. It's usually in the afternoon on a Wednesday, I think is the day, 4 o'clock. It's certainly not a figure role, let me say it that way. It's that I would definitely make sure you appoint someone that can fill that role, because it is an extremely important body that does a lot of work. It is pretty intensive. It actually surprised me, the level of activity that was going on with that commission. So it is definitely one of major importance to get the right individual plugged into that.
And they need to be a Marion County resident.
Yes.
I do have one question for you. Have we finalized the process of getting the deed for the school down in Britain beside the community park?
No, sir. We had an email back from, what date was that email? It was the 13th.
Yeah.
I think it was October the 13th. Their attorney told me that they were moving forward with that and working on it. I followed up again yesterday to ask for a follow-up, and I haven't heard anything back yet.
Or are there any encumbrances on that property?
Not that I'm aware of. It's the same chain of title from where we received the other part, the park, well, I say park, the track, where we received that some time ago. It's out of the same chain of title. I looked at that, and there hasn't been any changes since then. So
Well, I had
Not
some
aware
of
of
the constituents, a couple of them asked me to make sure that there's no in the original conveyance that the property wouldn't revert back to its original owner if it's no longer used as a school.
I'm not aware of that. If that's there, that's specifically on the school building. So I'd have to look at that title. The way we usually do these, that we've always done with the school board, anytime we get those items, they tender the information from me to me, and then I order the title search based on what he gives me, because I never really know exactly where the source of title is coming from. A lot of times it's, especially in that property, it's going back 2 or 3 names ago in the district of where it was originally vested. So until I get that information from him to order that search, I really don't have anything to operate on.
Anything else? You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right, item 11, Mr. William Walker, Marion County Pilot Group. Captain Mark Jenrette.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here on behalf of a 23-member group. Yeah, okay. This is Mark Jenrette. He's the commander of our CAP squadron, and we both want to address you. So do mine first. I'm here on behalf of a 23-member group, the Marion County Pilots and Air Crew Association. And I'd like to make a few comments on the way things are going at the airport. First, we want to thank you for the resurfacing and lengthening of the runway. We also want to thank you for the management initiative since October the 9th that have resolved nearly every issue from our members with management. You've sent us a good partner in our new airport director, Charles Taylor, and a good listener in his boss, the interim county administrator, Chavis Watford. Our members feel we've changed in a few short days from an adversarial relationship with airport management to partnership. And that's the way it should be. Our new airport director met with most of our pilots group during the first day on the job. He listened to our concerns. He dealt with nearly all of us within a 2-day, with all the problems within a 2-day period. He's met with us twice more, and we've established a good two-way flow of information. It may seem a small matter to you, but to us, it's significant that we now have after-hours access to the terminal building and use of the restrooms and the meeting room, which is headquarters for our Civil Air Patrol Squadron. We've already had multiple opportunities to speak with the interim administrator and the airport director about our concerns for modernizing the airport and fully incorporating it into the county economic development plan. We do not want our airport to be a perennial economic drain on the county. We feel that that is the quickest way to lose the confidence of the community and of the council. We know you're working the issue also. The new paving project provides the county with a first-class mile-long runway, and we can see that the airport leadership is striving to develop the airport as a friendly and economical stopover for transiting aircraft. That will help build our fuel sales, and it promotes our county. Our group wants to be a part of involving the Marion County community in the airport, particularly our school kids who will one day be our leaders. I grew up in the 50s and 60s, a 2-minute horseback from the primary airport in Marion County. That was the old Nichols grass field where my dad flew and taught me about aviation. We had fuel at Nichols Field, a licensed mechanic, a flight instructor, a training aircraft, a crop spraying operation, a Civil Air Patrol Squadron, and the planes of many of the pilots from Mullins and Marion and some from O'Ree. In 1974, our county built a paved airport and terminal between Marion and Mullins, and it was superior to Nichols Field. But over the past 2 decades, in which I've had an aircraft at the airport, and I do now, we have not sufficiently kept up with the changes and modernized. I understand that you're addressing the major issues we've discussed, such as new terminal, additional hangars, an aircraft mechanic on the field, an avionics repair shop, a parallel taxiway, and even a flight school. In my professional life, I write about airports nationwide, and it is a cold, hard fact that no airport stands still economically. Either it declines as a facility or it improves. I sense that we're going to improve. As I noted, our pilots group hopes that our airport leadership can reach out to the Marion County community, particularly families and young people, so the wide-ranging value of the airport can be better understood. Our group has volunteered to help with an aviation open house or fly-in to increase the flow of air traffic and community members to our airport. We hear you have some initiatives under consideration for community and pilot outreach, and we offer our support. I'd like to close on a personal note, if I can. I'm primarily involved in 3 volunteer activities in the county. The American Legion post at Nichols, where I'm the commander of 33 veterans, the safety officers of the CAP serving under Captain Generette, and where we're 18 strong, and the Pilots Association with nearly 24 aviators, many of them civic and business leaders in our county and state. There's a common trait among our members in those 3 groups. We take pride in our county and are more than willing to give of our time to help when help is needed. Don't hesitate to call on us. And thank you again for what you've done and are doing to revitalize our airport. We see the results of your efforts every day at the airport and know that that is a good thing for our county's future.
I just like to add a little bit to what Mr. Bill is talking about. I'm the squadron commander of the Distilled Air Union here in Marion. We've we've been a squadron, I think next year will be 50 years we've been service in Marion County. So we've got a long history here in Marion. We have 18 squadrons in the state. We have 9 aircraft in the state, and we also Marion was actually the first squadron in the state of South Carolina. So with that said, a little bit about our missions. We do SAR exercises, we do emergency services, we do homeland security, we do hurricane routes, we watch right after disasters and get pictures back to FEMA and those type of things. We also, across the state, we have exercises. We do SAR exercises with the wing in Columbia. We all get together and practice these missions. With that, we also have pilot clinics across the state. And seeing the improvements that we're having here in Marion, all the positive, and we're all excited about the new things that's going on. It wouldn't be far-fetched to be able to get maybe a wing to hold some of these exercises in Marion with all the new improvements that's coming our way. And with that being said, I'd like to thank the interim administrator and our airport director and the board for helping with all these great improvements in Marion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming and we appreciate your comments. Mr. Dylan Coleman, Lincoln PD River Project Coordinator.
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Buffkin. I'm the Executive Director of Winyah Rivers Alliance. I'm also a Mullins native, and I want to thank you guys. Thank you all, gentlemen, ladies, for giving us a few minutes to speak to you about Winyah Rivers Alliance. We are a nonprofit conservation organization. We are your river keepers. We monitor all the rivers that flow into the Winyah Bay. Our mission is to protect, preserve, monitor, and revitalize the health and the lands of the Greater Winyah Bay watershed, which is also, as I'm sure you know, the Lower PD Basin. Again, we are your river keepers. We monitor the rivers in 7 rivers in North and South Carolina. We monitor the Lumber River, the Waccamaw River, the Little PD, the Big PD, the Lynches, and the Black and the Sandpit Rivers. My office is at Coastal, although I'm a Mullins native. Like I said, go Auctioneers, just saying. But what we do a variety of different things, and we want to let you know that we are here. Although we've been working on these rivers for years, this organization has been going on for 22 years. But it started off as the Waccamaw Riverkeeper program, and we have moved onto all 7 rivers now. But because we are here on these rivers, we wanted you to know what we're doing. And I'll let Dylan talk here in a minute. This is Dylan Coleman. He is your PD Rivers, Lynches River project coordinator. So he is working on the rivers that come into Marion County other than the Lumber River. And I've been helping our Lumber River keeper, Jeff Curry, work on the Lumber River. So he's going to take a little bit what he's doing, but I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to come in and just let the county council know what we're doing on these rivers. And to let you know that we're looking forward to working to promote some ecotourism in the area. We think that we have the most beautiful and pristine rivers anywhere I've ever seen. I put Little PD River against any river in the world. We have this beautiful area and we want to promote it and protect it. And there's all kinds of opportunities for ecotourism. But with that being said, again, I wanted to come and introduce ourselves since we are working on these rivers. I thought it'd be a great idea tonight. Take just a few minutes to let you know that we're Winyah Rivers Alliance. We are a nonprofit. I'm not here to ask you for anything. I'm here to let you guys know what we've been doing on these rivers and what we're doing to protect clean water, because that's our mission, protecting clean water and also protecting open spaces so that everybody can enjoy these beautiful areas. And a lot of areas don't have places like Mullins and Marion do. I mean, this is just a pristine place for natural environment in this area. And a lot of places don't have that. And so we work with a lot of different organizations, you name it, pretty much if it's a conservation organization, We work with them. We go to the state house. We fight for clean water. We make sure we hold polluters accountable. We do cleanups. And again, I'm gonna let Dylan tell you a little bit more about that. We are monitoring the water. We're making sure the water is clean. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of these new chemicals called Forever Chemicals, PFAS, PFAS, or either PFOS. We are monitoring the rivers for PFAS. Now, this is a forever chemical. It is a cancer causing chemical that gets in your body and it does not leave. So we are finding this chemical on our rivers. Not a lot yet data has been taken on our local rivers, but we are finding these chemicals. They are in our fish. So they are bioaccumulating in our fish. So if you have a catfish, which I love to eat, and then he eats a red breast that has the chemicals in him, it bioaccumulates into the catfish. So you're eating the catfish, you're getting PFAS. So this is why our organization is so important, because we're working with DHEC. We're giving data to DHEC. DHEC's contacting us and saying, okay, Deborah, what can we do? Thank you guys. Thank you for getting along with us. Thank you for working with us. If we find out where these PFAS are coming from, we're going to stop it. We're going to work with DHEC and do whatever we can to stop a lot of them do come from chemical plants. And so we're working to stop some of that. Up on the Pocataligo, the headwaters of the Black River, that's where our highest PFAS levels have been found in South Carolina. My Black Sandpit Riverkeeper is working on that now to try to find out exactly where those PFAS are coming from, because that's going into our water. And if you grew up like I did on the river, I grew up fishing, swimming. I was fishing before I could walk and skiing, water skiing by the age of 5. I grew up on the Little PD River. And I want my children and my children's children and their children to continue to be able to use these rivers, enjoy them, and grow up like I did. And we got to protect that. So thank you for letting me speak. I'm gonna let Dylan tell you what he's been doing actually on these rivers. And that's all we wanted to do tonight, is just let you guys know what we're doing. And we're going to start coming more to these council meetings. We're going to start getting more involved, because Dylan is working on these rivers and he is local. But I'll hand it over to you, Dylan. Thank you all.
Hope everyone's doing okay this evening. Like Ms. Deborah said, I am the project coordinator for the Lynches and PD rivers. So Little PD, Big PD, and the Lynches. So that means my job takes me wherever those rivers flow, which is multiple counties throughout the state. But being from Marion, living here my entire life, I want to make sure above all that Marion is, like she said, has some of the most beautiful rivers in the world, I feel like. But my work involves me doing water monitoring. So I monitor pH levels in the water, dissolved oxygen. Fish need oxygen just like people, and E. coli level. So bacteria, the more E. coli you get, you have it in your body already, but the more you get can make you very sick. So a lot of my work is that, but I also organize volunteer cleanups, and I've already done 2 in Marion County so far. Between those 2 cleanups, one in Britton's Neck and one in PD near the 301 bridge, I've collected roughly around 80 pounds of trash from the banks and the water of those rivers. So moving forward, I'm going to be organizing more cleanups, more community events in the area, which, like I said, it takes me everywhere all over the state. But Marion's home, it's where I lay my head at night. I want to make sure my water's clean. So I'm looking forward to working with whoever wants to help me keep the water clean, promote clean water, fishing opportunities, all sorts of things moving forward. So looking forward to it. You'll see me a little bit more up here in the next few months or so. So thank you so much for having me here tonight.
I have a question for you, Mr. Cole.
Sure.
Do you think these rivers, particularly the Little PD and the Big PD, would benefit from dredging?
Might be a question for Ms. Deborah.
We have to have navigable waters. So we do promote navigable waters. I'm not sure about what I would call dredging. Like Senator Williams and I were just discussing about cleaning some of the limbs out and some of the areas that are keeping it from being navigable. When you start dredging, there could be metals and different things in that dirt and that you're bringing up, and that they're not toxic until you do start bringing that up. For example, Georgetown Harbor, they're thinking about dredging that. And I'm working with the professor, Teal Hannibal at Coastal Carolina University, and he's found all these metals in the bottom of the harbor, and they are not toxic until you start moving that, and then it becomes toxic. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm okay necessarily with dredging. I believe there are other options. that we could do that wouldn't be as invasive as dredging. We could remove some limbs and make sure that we have the river navigable, because one thing with We Y'all Rivers Alliance, we want to make sure people get out there, fishable, swimmable, drinkable water. We want people to be able to enjoy the rivers. So if it's not navigable, they can't do that. We kayak, we boat, we do all of that. So I believe in making it navigable. I don't think it needs dredging. I don't believe that we need to do that necessarily. No, sir. Does that answer your question?
To a degree, I think one of the concerns of people in my district, which is Brits Neck, Friendship, part of Friendship, Centenary, Gresham area is flooding. And how the two rivers come together, and we've seen with some hurricanes that come over the last 7 to 8 years, that the water's been allowed to come down, opening dams, et cetera. And the flooding has been great on our end, whether or not if the rivers were deeper, would there be less flooding?
As far as flooding goes, my mom and dad live on the Little Pitty River, and they flooded twice. They lived there over 50 years, never had water in the yard. And my daddy was a state trooper, retired state trooper. But anyway, they lost everything twice. And they're a mile off the river. So I understand that flooding is a huge issue in the area, and we want to do all we can. We are working with organizations, with Clemson and other organizations on nature-based solutions. I don't believe dredging is going to keep your river from flooding, but I do not believe that. I do believe there are other nature-based solutions we can do. Some of those solutions may sound a little bit very far-fetched in our area. For example, making smaller little dams. Of course, they wouldn't work on a big river like Little PD, but for example, Clemson University's talked about making these little small dams so the water can go down slower. But I'm like, they're blowing up beaver dams, and you want to make a little dam? That's not going to work in our area. But we are looking at nature-based solutions. I do believe that conservation is huge. I believe conserving land, as much land as we can, helps downstream. I believe conserving land in North Carolina, and we are doing that in North Carolina. We have a couple of properties there. That's going to be a big thing. I think logging is, I'm sorry, I'm not opposed to logging by any means, so please don't think I am. I think we need to have responsible logging. And now that you ask, I'll go ahead and say, I think we need to have barriers. We need to have one certain, should be logged all the way to the river because it causes erosion on the riverbanks. I believe in responsible logging. I believe in reforestation, not clear cutting. Because if you don't have these trees, they're not going to suck up the water by any means. So I believe in reforestation. I believe in having buffers, like I said, 100-foot buffers on the rivers when you log. I believe there are so many other ways that wouldn't be as invasive as dredging. And I do not believe that the dredging is going to cause these rivers to keep from flooding. I do know the water is rising, and I do believe land conservation, reforestation are probably two of our best bets to prevent the flooding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
The Little PD from 76 to the Lakeview Road, Old Nickel Road.
Okay.
Those trees that have fallen through out there because of the hurricane,
Yeah.
you can hardly get through them. And is there anything to be done in areas like that?
Yes, sir. Hey, Alan. I believe that Senator Kent, and I hope I'm not speaking for you. I believe Senator Kent Williams has been in conversations with the Corps of Engineers. People ask me often, I'm the executive director of We Y'all Rivers Alliance. I don't know if I said that or not, but people ask me often, Deborah, when are you going to clean out the river? You know, we're having trouble getting through, like you're saying, from the hurricanes and the trees falling. And I can't approve that. The Corps of Engineers, because it is a scenic river, the only river that we monitor that is not a scenic river is the Walkamaw. But because it is a scenic river, you do have to go through the Corps of Engineers to get approval to do that. And I am okay with cleaning some of that out. Again, I think it needs to be navigable. And we kayak and we boat. We want to make sure people can get in the rivers and enjoy them. So I'm okay. I think that's not a bad idea at all, Alan. And I believe Ken is working on that, having that done. And I know that the Black River is doing some of that because we also own Rocky Point Community Forest. It's 462 acres down in Georgetown. I don't know if you've heard of the new state park. We're the last property in the new state park in South Carolina. It's actually a water park that goes all the way through King Street and comes down. We're the last property in that park, but I know they've had issues navigable issues. I know that Lumber River, they're starting to clean out some of Lumber River because people can't get boats through there. So I understand that. And because I grew up on the river, I want to be able to fish the river and swim the river and boat the river too. So yes, sir, I think we could clean some of that out, but the Corps of Engineers they have to prove that. Yes, sir. Thank you all. Any
Thank
more
you.
questions? Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. Administrative update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of council and all that's in attendance. Just wanted to give a few brief updates. For our capital sales update, our airport will be reopening on November the 6th. We were again closed due to renovations and due to the expansion of our runway, but we will be open November 6th. So please come out and see us. Our animal shelter, we are going to be coordinating a town hall to discuss some of the changes and questions that we have that our community has in regards to our animal shelter. And I think it's just important for us to open it up and have a town hall meeting to address those questions, because many people have questions on what we're doing, what direction we're going in. So that date will be to be determined, and I will let you know, and we'll reach out. Also, our parking lot, as you can see, we are in the final stages. It's been a long time coming, but we are doing the landscaping now. Next week, we will start painting the lines and having our parking lot pretty much complete. So in the next couple of weeks, we will be finished with the front parking lot, and we will have a ribbon cutting, and I hope to see all of you at that ribbon cutting, and we'll announce that date and let everybody know. Under miscellaneous, I just want to brief you. The state has what you would call opioid money funds for opioid recovery. And on this week, Wednesday, I met with the city of Marion, city of Mullins. We met to discuss how we can work together to have a plan on what needs to happen with our opioid funds. So we're working together. We're going to submit a plan together. We work with our sheriff's department, our EMS department, and again, the administrator from Mullins and Marion were in attendance. So we're all coming up with a plan together that's going to work for our citizens here in Marion County. And and we also worked with Trinity Behavioral Healthcare. They were also in attendance, and really is an integral part to what needs to happen for the opioid recovery, because it is a problem in our community, and we want to be able to have the resources and put the people in place, the counseling in place, so that we can help these individuals. So I'll give more information as information comes. And finally, we just like to have a little bit of fun sometimes. So our county will be hosting our first candy walk for our community, our daycares, our schools, any community members that want to come out on Monday. We will be having a candy walk beginning about 11 o'clock. You can come view the decorations that we have up, get candy, just walk around and just really be a community event. Simple, but yet brings us all together. So I'm looking forward to that. Please come out if you have time. And then on Tuesday, as I've mentioned last meeting, our offices entered a contest for a Halloween contest for decorating our offices. And the purpose of that was to collaborate, team build morale, and just bring all of our offices together. Although we work in the same area, sometimes we don't get to talk to each other, but this opened up that opportunity to do that. So Tuesday, the city of Mullins and the city of Marion administrators will be coming to judge those competitions, and we will announce our winners. So we're excited about that, and I hope if you all are available, please come out, and we look forward to seeing you. But that's all the updates that I have.
Pretty scary looking out there.
It is scary.
I forgot something at the beginning of the meeting. I have Councilman Robin Turner's proxy. Requests and comments by members of council.
Yes, I have two comments. One, I want to acknowledge that the community in Centenary has had a series of meetings culminating in a meeting on the past weekend, which was attended by some of my fellow council members to restart the Centenary volunteer fire department. It was a very important meeting. We were successful in getting together to put together a board of directors. The board of directors actually met informally yesterday before they'll have a formal meeting to make sure everyone's familiar with each other. The next step is to then elect a chief and a deputy chief of the fire department. And their other partners, the Marion Fire Department, have been helping. Mr. Washington, friends and Nichols have been there participating. And we just came from Britain's neck as well. So everyone's coming together to help this community get their volunteer fire department started again, which will be important for safety and lowering insurance rates in that area. So I want to thank everybody who's been involved in that and ask everyone to stay involved as we get this project off the ground. Also want to acknowledge the great work that took place yesterday, our grand opening ribbon cutting for healthcare partners, opening a facility in Britain's Neck. That's going to be a great facility. We have a lot of elderly people who cannot get to Marion or Florence or Conway, and this will be an opportunity for them to be able to receive service locally. So I'm very excited about that. And lastly, but not least, I want to acknowledge and thank Ms. Margaret Pittman, our recently retired director of the airport, who served 39 years in that role. She provided great service and provided the county with an opportunity to develop and grow. And she hands it off to a good team who will continue to allow the airport to develop and grow with a new vision. And so I want to acknowledge Ms. Pittman's contributions to this county over 39 years and let her know that this county and this council is thankful for her contributions.
You want to do that in the form of a resolution?
I propose we offer a resolution to honor her for 39 years of service to Marion County. Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. The ayes have it.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Floyd.
I got one item. We had discussed something about, is it Marco or Rural Fire? Who was it who was gonna try to help get some more fire hydrants? You know, we discussed it. We
That
initiated
was-
that years ago, but it's kind of falling in the crack.
That was Marco Water. And I have not been in contact with them recently about the fire hydrants. It's been a couple months, but we did speak about it. And what the issue is the lines. I've spoken with them. It's the lines that are connected that are connected from house to house has to be so many feet. And so right now, they aren't long enough. So we've got to work with Marco and some engineers to extend those lines to allow more fire hydrants, which will in turn lower the insurance rate in that area.
Sure.
I have two appointments to make tonight. First, I want to appoint Lisa Seabrooks to the Marion County Planning Commission and Ms. Janie Grice to the Marion County Economic Development Board.
Second,
We don't need a motion.
don't need a motion. You got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, we need an executive session for personnel and contracts.
Yes, sir.
Somebody. Motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, the ayes have it. We're gonna go back here.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
How you doing? Good to see
We went in executive session for personnel and contractual matter. No action was taken. We need to come out of executive session and come back into our open meeting. Motion,
Second.
second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. We're now back in open session.
Is there anything we can do on record, supporting Zach, or if it's a statement or something to come out as a council? You know why I'm saying that? I want him to know.
That we think about.
I've been praying for him, and I know y'all have too, but just something that would be a part of the record on this board. Is there anything we can do?
Financially
Or really,
I'm talking about let him know that we're still thinking him, because let me tell you, sometimes people do a wonderful job and the blink of an eye, they're gone.
Right.
And then you all of a sudden you get about, like, you made that motion about the Navy airport. Sometimes we forget too quick, and these people have done that in their lives, and Jack has done a wonderful job. I just think if there's anything we could do. My thing.
I can make a recommendation, maybe if we write a letter to Zach and we present that letter to council and we sign the letter, and something to that effect, a
I
letter.
think that's a good idea.
Okay. We'll get that together.
There'll be a motion.
Does that need to be in the form of motion,
Consensus.
It's fine.
general consensus?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back in open session. Is there any action we need to take, Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
I'll entertain-